I heard about this massive standard retail data model created by an incredibly large number of subject matter experts. What is it? What does it cover? Mostly, how can I take advantage of the knowledge embedded within this model? This model contains over 800 tables and 8,000 attributes. This video tries to give you insight and answer those questions. It is brought to you by the Wizard of Pause. So who is this Wizard of Pause? Well, I started writing software in 1968. Since then, I've written over 1 million lines of code. In the 1990s, I wrote an internet-based remote control software. McDonald's was interested in this because they wanted their regional and division managers have access to what's going on in the store without physically being in the store. In addition, I wrote the first certified online credit card processing system. As from that, I became known as the unknown father of e-commerce. And I've had over 20 years experience with POS development. I went to work for ARTS, the Association for Retail Technology Standards, and I was involved in the development of every ARTS standard you see here. That results in somewhere between 15 to 20,000 attributes in all of this work. From this, I learned retail technology from over 1,450 of the smartest people in retail. In addition, I've trained retail technology all over the world in 20 different countries on 5 continents. The companies represented by this is over 100,000 retail stores. I have a patent on real-time text collection. And I've written the product requirements and designs for numerous retailers and vendors. And right now, I'm in the process of creating the School of Retail. I've also written a book called Arts for Retail, explaining how this stuff works together. And now I've created over 60 YouTube videos, again explaining the various aspects of retail technology. So here's a quick look at the overview of all of the ART standards. There are 4 major areas. First is the operational data model, and this is where they began in 1993. Then to connect it to and between applications, they created a whole set of interface standards. To properly analyze the retailer's performance, they created a data warehouse. And finally, there's the device connectivity standard called Unified POS. So let's take a little bit deeper look into this inventory. It's amazing. It starts with a set of blueprints, which are in fact requirements docs that are used to guide the rest of the work. When building the things, all kinds of retail design documents were created. There were a few technical reports that are dealing with very specific things, like the payment ecosystem, for example. Then there's a set of best practices, and these best practices were used to guide all of this work to make sure it was consistent. Then there's an enormous number of application interfaces. Today, these are in both XML and JSON. Unified POS is the device standard. It's got over 35 devices in it. On top of that, they've now added a whole robot control set. The data models, which is what this video is about, are both the retail data model and the data warehouse model. And then there were RFP templates created to help retailers reduce the cost of creating an RFP to help get things on the street. And then to understand how all of this ties together, we created a business process model. So the ARTS data model is a logical data model. That is, it's a representation of a data architecture that is unconstrained by technical, organizational, or platform requirements. And it is written in the IDEF 1X standard notation. What are some of the benefits of this data model? Well, first, it's a common vocabulary for the retail industry. That's absolutely imperative when you get into the microservices architecture. It's a powerful tool for integrating within the enterprise. Its basis to develop integrated applications across enterprise boundaries. And it captures retailers' best practices. Some other benefits of the model. It's technical staff education about retail business. When people hire technology folks, they typically hire them because they can write code, not because of their knowledge of retail, and this helps them with that. It supports the acquisition of retail software products that are easier to integrate. It has many uses others beyond building just the database. And it captures the business domain knowledge essential for successful application of services to retail enterprises. The data model was the foundation of the standard of OMG/ARTS. It was actually started in 1993. Today it contains over 800 tables and 8,000 data elements in a relational database designed to support most applications within retail. You are looking at the logos of some pretty savvy and successful retailers who have used the model. There are some of the retailers who have been part of the data model design team. So let me ask you this. How would you like to have a design team consisting of the top technologists from all of these leading retailers? Of course you would, but you can't afford them. And that's just what you thought. Here's the good news. You've got them if you employ the OMG/ARTS data model. Here is a very high level of the ARTS data model, which sketches out its business context. The entity types are color-coded to reflect the subject area they are based in. We start with the red entity types, and these are the item inventory and stock control subject areas. The turquoise area is the item subject area, which deals with merchandise and services sold by the retailer. The violet area are the enterprise subject area, and it describes the retail organization, its location, and financial responsibility centers. The orange area is the transaction subject area, and it deals with point of sale recording with many different kinds of exchanges that occur in a retail store. This is the largest area of the retail model. The blue area deals with reporting, and it summarizes, filters, and sorts out transactional detail for management monitoring of the performance, and it be used in developing plans. The lime green area are entity types that deal with the customer, probably one of the most important areas in the model. It identifies and describes retail customers, their shopping behavior, their demographics, psychographics, and other information used to understand their needs and preferences. The forest green type is the financial ledger area and derives accounting information for use by core financial systems like general ledgers, accounts receivable, accounts payable, payroll, fixed assets, and so on. And the yellow type is a system support area where you hold the reference data codes and other information used across all of the subject areas in the data model. So let's take a little deeper dive into the various business functions supported by the data model. There are quite a number of them, so we're going to move rather quickly. Starting with merchandise flow management, dealing with receiving, direct store delivery, transferring in and out processing, return to vendors, stock adjustment, and supply side tax processing. Another area is the inventory management, where we have the retail stock ledger and the physical inventory. In the item and price area, we deal with shelf labeling, item labeling, electronic labeling, item maintenance, and price derivation rules maintenance. The business functions around the point of sale processing deal with access control, sales and returns, tender, sales tax, the transaction log, void, payments, price lookup, and price derivation. All necessary things to run your point of sale. The tender control deals with positive and negative authorizations, media balancing, external authorization, pause loans and pickup processing, and finally tender deposits. The store administration business function deals with merchandise location, what are your rules, what's your calendar, what kind of controls have you got in place, what are your taxes on individual items, how do you manage access control, party maintenance, parties are basically your customers, petty cash disbursements, petty cash receipts, and your organizational structure, and your financial adjustments. In the business function area, we deal with sales and productivity reporting, dealing with sales analysis and your reporting hierarchy. Your customer relationship management deals with your loyalty, your employee customer management, your customer data collection, customer maintenance, adding and removing customers, your gift registry, your micro marketing, so you can target directly to particular customers, and finally your customer accounts. The ordering area deals with order creation, replenishment management, and direct store delivery. Your workforce management area deals with time and attendance, your workforce planning, employee maintenance, and employee performance management. So let's take a little more detailed look, and here's a detailed block diagram of the data model, starting with retail transactions, most important thing in the retail data model. Your customer order transactions, which help support retail transactions. Tender control transactions, inventory control transactions, fueling transactions and forecourt transactions, equipment area, events, various events that can occur, and then all of the supporting areas that have to be used for these other areas to effectively record what's going on. Here we get into the details. This is really overwhelming when you look at it from this level, but you can break it down into various subject areas as we've been talking about. So now we have this incredible retail data model. Who cares? Well, let's look at this OMG Arch data model, how it fits within the new modern retail architecture. Well, we can establish linkages between the data model, interfaces, schemas, and microservices. From a modeling standpoint, we have some challenges to integrating these standards into the microservice environment that deal with legacy applications. In most cases, these disparate applications and the services they host will be accessing lots of different, narrowly scoped databases. These databases are not typically integrated, at least not like the OMG Arch data model. So the semantic context and glue provided by the integrated model has to be provided in some other way. Historically, retailers force this integration on the vendors, and this is a lost leader for the vendors. By design, microservices work together in a loosely coupled fashion. This is the service's strength in integrating different services by virtualizing them and wrapping them in a standard interface. The ability to hide implementation constraints means that legacy systems as well as new systems can be published and consumed dynamically. The challenge, though, is that these various disparate systems likely have different interfaces. As we look at the modern agile retail architecture, we see the significance of the OMG/Arch retail data model as the glue that allows all these services to work together without knowing anything about any other services. Thank you. I am the Wizard of Pod. My name is Richard Halter. Please check out my book, Art for Retail, Using Technology to Turn Your Consumers into Customers and Make a Profit. It's available on Kindle. Thank you.